Police constable charged in relation to 2018 assault incident. A police constable was summoned to the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on September 30 to answer to a wounding-related charge to an incident involving a civilian man in 2018. The incident reportedly occurred on June 25, 2018, in the vicinity of Garmex Textile Complex on Marcus Garvey Drive. Constable Brenton McLean was charged with wounding with intent, following and reloading by the Office of Director of Prosecutions, and an investigation by the Independent Commissions of Investigations. McLean is set to return to court on December 8, 2025. According to Indicom, since 2024, 47 law enforcement officials have been charged in relation to incidents investigated by Indicom, 28 in 2024, and a further 19 in 2025. 21 of the 47 charged Jamaica Constabulary Force and Department of Correctional Services were in relation to assault investigations. St. James Police seeking to dismantle female-led robbery syndicate. The St. James Police are seeking to dismantle what they describe as a female-led robbery syndicate operating across a number of parishes. Head of the St. James Police Senior Superintendent Evan Samuels says investigators will fully pursue the group over the next 3 months. The aim is to further reduce robberies in St. James. SSP Samuels said the police have made progress in apprehending some of the alleged members. The police say since the upsurge in robberies, more than 10 people have been charged for robbery and related offenses. Lawmen added that their intelligence indicates that they are key players in the syndicate. The St. James Police say their relentless operational search has resulted in some alleged members moving into neighboring parishes. In the meantime, Crime Officer for St. James Deputy Superintendent Michael Moore indicates that the police have had some success in curbing robberies with the arrest of persons mainly targeting the Chinese business community.
The main player goes by the name Toots. We'll be pushing hard against this syndicate to ensure that we bring the robberies right down. We are going into the Yuletide season and we want persons to be able to shop in peace. So our efforts will be relentless in ensuring that this robbery syndicate is fully demolished. It's not an all-female but female-led. This robbery syndicate plies their trade across several parishes, and the work of the members of the division, including those in the zones of special operation, they made a big find in terms of holding on to some of the main players, and also members of the St. James operational team and the St. James PIU and investigators. They have made some major headways, but there are still splinters of the gang around, and with that joint effort across Area 1, we will see that team or that robbery syndicate being dismantled.
The parish was experiencing an upsurge in robberies. Now, through operations and investigations, we have been able to make a significant dent. We have arrested more than a dozen perpetrators who we believe forms part of a syndicate that is operating in the St. James area. Recently, we had 5 arrested and firearms were seized from them. These men mainly targeted our Chinese business community, and I can say with confidence right now the Chinese business community is breathing a sigh of relief because we have arrested and charged these persons and they are presently in custody.
NCU President wants church spaces to be converted into learning centers. President of Northern Caribbean University NCU, Professor Lincoln Edwards, is calling for a partnership between the government and churches to convert their spaces into learning centers. He posited that these centers can be used to engage more young people in areas such as technology and equip them for the future. Professor Edwards made the call during the Caribbean Maritime University CMU Industry Academics Conference 2025 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in New Kingston on October 1. In the early 80s, I was advocating with my church to use the churches as a learning center because most of these churches are closed during the week. They have services on Wednesdays and Saturdays, the president noted. The Seventh-day Adventist Church organization has 750 churches, and they have human resource capital sitting in those churches. So imagine if you were to place computers in those churches as a direct strategy of the government to assist those churches, and then the human capital they would then bring to the community, persons to do work right there, to study, to learn, he argued. He pointed out that males outnumber females in the technology courses offered at NCU and argued that the greater use of the church centers, particularly by males, could reduce some of the social problems being experienced in the society. I would tell you that the only courses that male outnumber females in at NCU are technology courses. So, in other words, males have a natural affinity of technology. They want to be there, so a number of the social problems we're having with males could be helped by having them come to these churches, get involved in technology that they love. So, we have to look at this strategy broadly to involve some of these communities, Professor Edwards noted. Responding to a question regarding AI, virtual learning, and its impact on students, the professor pointed out that AI has revolutionized learning. It has personalized it, and in true sense, no child needs to be left behind because they just need access to the technology, which they can use. So I think it's a great tool to have, he noted. Meanwhile, President CMU Professor Andrew Spencer said critical analysis is even more important in the teaching and learning environment. With this kind of access to information and tools in the way that students now have it, what it has done is to level the playing field. It means that lecturers and teachers have to step up their game. It means that superficial sharing and delivery of information is no more important because I can get that elsewhere, he noted. So the need for critical analysis and all those other things which are evolving would be important. But for students, I think it's an important time. We are in an infectious point, and have we responded to it as institutions will determine our future looks like in keeping space with the rest of the world, he added. Fearful fishers. With news emerging on Friday that the United States force carried out another strike on an alleged drug smuggle vessel off the Venezuelan coast, local fishers have different views on how this is likely to affect them. U.S. Defense Secretary confirmed that the strike on Friday via his Department of War X account, stating that 4 individuals were killed. The operation marked the fifth such strike in a month, bringing the reported death total to at least 21. The U.S. says the target small vessels was transporting large quantities of narcotics and was operating in international waters off Venezuela. According to the secretary, the drugs were headed to America to poison our people, and the individuals killed were labeled as narco-terrorists. For some Jamaican fishers like Roy from Pedro Banks, the news feels distant and irrelevant. It no trouble me because me nah fish over there so. We a hook online man. We only go for Pedro Banks. We don't go further than that, he told reporters. We no deal with drugs. Yeah, hook online we deal with. We're not going over there, so those things going on won't affect me. We're also dismissed concern about the proximity of the strike. Them not in the Caribbean water. Them not in the Caribbean water, man. I hear all about it still, but they are not in the Caribbean water, he stated. However, other fishers are more uneasy, fearing the consequences of being mistakenly identified. The fact that they're out at sea and a missile can just drop in at the boat and you hear say you are drugs boat and you're involved in a problem, said one fisherman preparing for a trip for the Greenwich Farm fishing village. Richard, another local fisherman, voiced deeper concern about the lack of guidance from Jamaican authorities. You could end up somewhere and some missile just fly and hit you because you are suspected of, or you may seem to pass Venezuela Strait or Trinidad Strait. This is what it's all about, controlling the power, and that is what it is, he told reporters. The fisher folks are getting the bad end of it because if any of us go out there and by whatever means stray and the battleship we're with upon in the water right now may feel like it's a threat, they will do something foolish like that, and Jamaica don't really have the kind of governmental power to deal with that. The government is the one that should be giving guidelines and say, since they are doing that over there, make sure the fisher folks don't part the strait here, so he stated. He added that the government should be providing clear guidance to prevent Jamaican fishers from accidentally entering danger zones. None of those concerns have been addressed, stated Richards. Fisheries Minister Fred Green declined to comment when contacted by reporters. Jamaican fishers have also at times drifted into foreign territory waters after spending extended periods at sea and experiencing mechanical failures with their boats. Over the past decade, Jamaicans in distress have been rescued by authorities and civilians from Colombia, Honduras, and other countries. Now, with heightening military activity and the risk of being mistaken for suspects, some fear that accepting help from vessels flagged by the United States could make them inadvertent casualties in a broader conflict. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.